To have you back. Now, with the use of e-cigarettes and vaping products on the rise, government plans to regulate the sector. But the Free Market Foundation has raised some concerns that it could push more people towards traditional cigarettes and the illicit market. Joining us now is Leon Louw, Executive Director at the Free Market Foundation. Good morning to you, Leon. A pleasure to have you this morning. Let's talk about those concerns you have around government regulating e-cigarettes and vaping products. What do they include?
Yes, they include a higher tax on heated products than on non-heated products, which is intended to reduce or to provide an incentive to go away. But the point is that the rates are so high, the taxes are so high that regardless of these relatively small proposed changes, the illicit market will continue to grow and is enormous at the moment. It had a huge boost during lockdown. And so the change will be maybe less tobacco-based products, less heated products, but also many more illicit and illegal products, which promotes crime, promotes syndicates, promotes illegal imports and illegal manufacturing, which is inferior quality and therefore less healthy. So the proposal will be counterproductive. And also, people forget that tobacco has very substantial benefits for smokers. I'm not one, I'm a lifelong non-smoker, but people tend to forget the very substantial, vital, important benefits of smoking, which this will counteract. And smokers will be worse off and people who might benefit from smoking.
But, Leon, it seems from government's perspective, they're arguing that e-cigarettes and vaping products are actually harmful and thus warrant regulation. What's your response to this?
Well, the point is that obesity is harmful, sedentary behavior is harmful, not exercising, eating sugar, many alcohol, many things are so-called harmful. But the word harmful is a loaded word. They're very beneficial, for example, if you suffer from loneliness or depression. During lockdown, for example, tobacco would have been a great psychological relief. And people who are psychologically relaxed, who are de-stressed, who can overcome a lack of confidence, unlike you, for example. But remember that some people are very shy, they lack social confidence, they need a puff or a drink or whatever to boost that. So the psychological harm and even the physical harm. People who smoke are inclined to drink less alcohol, they're inclined to eat less, and all of these are physical benefits which people forget. So the psychological and physical benefits of smoking mean that the so-called harm, or the harm, there is harm, yes, there is harm, but there are also benefits. And for each individual, you or me and every viewer, there's a different balance, where it is on balance harmful or on balance beneficial, as everything else is in life. Exercise, work, weight, diet, psychological well-being, and so on. All of these things are unique to every individual, and I'm afraid the government tends to ignore this when it comes to tobacco, that everyone has their own personal balance between benefits and disadvantages.
I want to go back to, of course, the budget speech by Finance Minister eNCA, obviously confirming that the government is proposing to introduce this new tax, and just reminding our viewers that it seems the new tax on vaping products was of at least R2.90 per milliliter, and that will be introduced, or at least is planned to, for the 1st of January 2023. Leon, let's take it back to, of course, lockdown. It's been 2 years now, and we've just been reacting to the president's speech 2 years on. How has the illicit market affected, of course, industry? We're talking here about, R2.90 tax expected per milliliter. But obviously, consumers will look for a cheaper option. And if it means they need to do it backdoor, they will do so. And that's why the illicit market has been quite prevalent, right, during lockdown.
Yes, this is a very perverse thing. It's for the government promoting crime. It's quite a strange thing for a government to do. And promoting discrimination. There should be, for consumers, no discrimination between those who choose to smoke and those who don't. We should all be treated equally. And this should be a constitutional imperative. So what is happening is that the government is promoting the illegal market, the unlawful market, and some people even believe that key people in government actually benefit directly from that. And the government loses many billions of rands. I once did a calculation, I can't remember what conclusion I reached, as to how many billion rands less revenue the government has, but it was enough to build something like 4,000 or 5,000 RDP houses every year. This is lost, and it could be more. And so the public of South Africa, and we must understand the poor, the rich don't mind paying more. As almost everything is a victimization of poor people. In South Africa, that means people in smaller towns and villages. It means black people. It means 40%, 48% or so who are unemployed. And so the victims are the destitute people already, the people who actually need to be able to access tobacco products to cope with the stresses of lockdown, to cope with the stresses of unemployment, poverty, economic stagnation. And those who aren't unemployed need to understand how terrible unemployment is. It's a ghastly condition, and people need the psychological relief of one of the possibilities is smoking.
Well, we have to leave it then, Leon, and I appreciate you speaking to us this morning. Of course, your concerns being raised to government, and hopefully we'll see if they can give us a response there to, of course, these concerns that you've spoken to us about today. Free Market Foundation's Leon Louw, thank you for joining us.